So this is the part A of the Khoodeelaar television channel being broadcast on the Baby Angel Geronimo Editions banner. And this is Monday, the 4th of September 2023. One of the items that we want to focus on is the token suspension by the political murderer of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, of the elected mayor at the expense of Hackney East London, Phil Glanville. Glanville has been caught lying about his flatmate. Now, his flatmate, Glanville's flatmate, is also linked with Mag Hilliard, who is the MP for Hackney South and Shoreditch. Phil Glanville is a grinning, creepy, elected mayor opportunist in Hackney. And he was told by Hackney's chief executive that his flatmate had been arrested. And the arrest was based on the various child sex abuse offenses. Glanville lied when told about his relationship with this pedophile who has confessed to all the allegations against him. But then, through the activities of Stoic Newington, MP, who is not aligned to any party now, Diane Abbott, Phil Glanville's lying became publicized as he was shown grinning in a selfie featuring the same convicted pedophile that he said he didn't know. Now, Glanville's lying is, of course, being acted on, regardless of the fact that it's been acted on in a tokenistic way, as I've said. But the other liars, elected mayor liars, and the lies are not being acted on even in a tokenistic way, which is typical of the built-in corruption created by Tony Blair. Tony Blair, who foisted the elected mayor option on the UK, created this corrupt and corrupting post, allowing the incumbent to do as they liked without being held accountable for the behavior. For example, in Newham, next door to Hackney, the elected mayor, Ruxana Fiaz, boasts that everything Newham Council does is about the people of Newham. She does that. She includes that in everything that Newham publishes. But there is no way to measure whether she even knows the meaning of the words in there. For example, when on the 12th of November 2018, Roxana Fiaz staged an apology after a single mother reported at a public gathering how Newham Council Social Services were cruel, didn't care when she complained about being hungry. Hungry for what? In her apology, staged on the 12th of November 2018, as published on the 13th of November 2018 by the independent.co.uk, Roxana Fayaz, and I'm looking for it now, mother describes being forced to drink her baby's milk as people living with poverty come forward to tell United Nations envoy stories. And the mother is quoted in the piece on the Independent Online on the 13th of November 2018. I was in my slippers. It was so cold. I plucked up the courage to ask them, to say I'm hungry. I have a baby. But they said, we can't give you anything. I had to drink my baby's milk. This is in a piece by May Bullman. May Bullman, social affairs correspondent. The posting of that item is timed as shown on the piece 13:59 hours on Tuesday, 13th of November 2018. There is a picture taken by May Bullman of Roxana Fia speaking at the Community Links based in Canning Town, Barking Road, on the 12th of November 2018. After hearing the witness statements, Newham's mayor Roxana Fias said, "Can I just apologize on behalf of myself as mayor of Newham and on behalf of the council, that is Newham Council, that you, those people who have been talking about being badly treated by Newham Council employees, experienced that treatment at the hands of people that we, Newham Council, employ. It shouldn't have happened. Well, it did happen, and it's continuing to happen because the woman whose body was found the Newham Recorder reported on the issue of this woman last year, August the 3rd, 2022. Ex nurse laid decomposing on display. And this is on the 3rd of August 2020. Police officers who said they searched the home of a missing woman twice failed to find her mummified body laying on the kitchen floor. And again, the Independent on the 23rd of July 2022, which is a week before the Newham Recorder caught up, headed the piece, "Woman found decomposing at home after mental health services failed to check in on her." So this one is talking about mental health services, and the Newham Recorder one emphasized the police. And here is the piece by Rebecca Thomas. Health Now, this woman that was found with, within Newham is named as Lillian John Baptiste, and she is believed to have died in late 2019, aged 73. But her date of death is unknown. She was mummified by the time she was found in February 2022. She lay dead for more than a year at her flat in Remile Street, Kennington. Now remember, Kennington is the place where, in the Barking Road, the Newham mayor, Roxana Fria, spoke on the 12th of November 2018. The apology with social services, people who cruelly refused to help the single mother who complained of being hungry and had to survive. She had her for her way. In July 2021, when checking on vulnerable residents amid the COVID-19 pandemic, Newham Council could not reach Mrs. John Baptiste, and they called the police. Police entered the property and found it filled with piles of rubbish, with one likening Mrs. John Baptiste to a hoarder. So this is on Newham Recorder, dated the 4th of August 2022. And the heading is Ex-Nurse Laid Decomposing on Display After Met Police Searches Missed Body in Flat. The failure of police officers to find the badly decomposed body of Lillian John Baptiste in Kennington has sparked changes to Met Police training. An inquest hard, imaged by Amanda Alexandra. Now, the name Amanda Alexandra is the name of Mrs. Baptiste's daughter. A coroner slammed the Met Police's embarrassing failure, saying he believed a thorough search would have found Lillian John Baptiste. A spokesman for the Met Police said the force's thoughts and sympathy remain with Mrs. John Baptiste's family, and an inquest hard, training had been updated and best practices reiterated to staff since the case came to light. This is a pattern of corrupt organizations issuing this kind of stupid, incredible, untruthful, dishonest statements as propaganda. For example, the case of the housing ombudsman ordering the Newham Council to pay £5,400 by a thing called the housing ombudsman seriously criticized Newham Council's lying and lack of communication, lack of honesty. The Newham Voices has the piece with the heading Apology and 5,400 payout as council acts over mold and damp failures. Now, in that statement, that is the heading, there are three elements in that statement, and all three of them show Newham Council in the best possible light, absolutely untruthful. It says apology, which is a proactive word suggesting that Newham Council took the initiative and apologized to the man, which is a lie. It didn't. And £5,400 payout. It suggests that Newham Council took the initiative and paid the £5,400 as a payout to the man, which is a lie. That amount is the amount that Newham Council has been ordered to pay to the man, ordered by the Housing Ombudsman. So that's a lie. And the third lie is that Council acts over mold and damp failures. That is a lie as well. Because Council has only issued a statement, a prospective statement. It's not something that has actually been happening because the mold and the damp have not been solved. And there is a long list of lies, dishonesty contained in the critical statement issued by the Housing Ombudsman against Newham Council. So, why is Newham Voices, which is edited by a known National Union of Journalists activist of the 1980s, Adrian White, why is it lying? Why is Adrian White lying? Because the piece that has got the headline Apology and £5,400 payout as council acts over mold and damp failures is actually based on the copy written by local democracy reporter Ruby L. Gregory. Now, Ruby L. Gregory did not write to the Newham Voices. I think the Newham Voices stole the piece from the internet because she actually writes in My London and also for the BBC. And both the BBC piece and the My London piece, same piece about the same mold and damp condition, were nearer to the accurate facts. No, not dishonestly misleading, untruthful heading that Adrian White has put on the same piece in the September issue of Newham Voices on page 3. So you have in the case of elected mayors like in Newham, elements locally claiming to be independent publishers of news being going out of their way to suck up to the elected mayor, which is what the New Voices, edited by Adrian White, is doing. Which means that the likes of Roxana Fiers, even when condemned by the housing ombudsman, are not put under pressure or spotlight by the so called independent New Voices. Thus, giving them, that is, the likes of Roxana Fiers, the confidence to continue to misrepresent the council's corruption and lying and dishonesty and ignore people in the borough. This is something that I said, that Tony Bilayar imposed, because Tony Bilayar is a notorious deregulator. As a follower of Margaret Thatcher, who is a deregulator, Tony Bilayar foisted on the UK the option to create elected mayors. Now, elected mayors started 23 years ago with the first election of the mayor at the expense of London, who turned out to be Ken Livingstone Livingstone. And for 23 years, many of the criminals in the professional council bureaucracies have tried to foist the corrupt and corrupting post of elected mayor on council so that they can completely bypass and any element of accountability to the local people for their behavior. And it has not sold at all. How many elected mayors are there in post at the present time? Let's check. So, under the entry on the Wikipedia, directly elected mayors in England, let's see how many it says. So, as at May or in May, there are 24 directly elected mayors in England. All right, so Greater London Mayor is Sadiq Khan, and Andy Street, West Midlands, Mayor of West Midlands, Conservative. Greater Manchester Combined Authority is Andy Barnum. West Yorkshire Combined Authority, Tracy Brabin. And Liverpool City Region Combined Authority, Steve Rotherham. And this is South Yorkshire Mayoral Combined Authority is Oliver Coppard, Labour. West of England Combined Authority, Mayor of West of England, it's a Labour one, Dan Norris. And Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Combined Authority, again Labour and Cooperative, is Nick Johnson. North of Tyne Combined Authority, Labour and Conservative, is James Driscoll. Tees Valley Combined Authority is Ben Hushan or Hushan is Labour Co-op and Conservative. So out of 317, let's say boroughs, there are 23. Is it 23? Let's go back to the number again so that there is no mistake as to the number. 24 directly elected mayors in England out of 317 boroughs, and it has been available, it has been possible. The option has been possible for 23 years. And in Bristol, the mayor post has been scrapped. There won't be another mayor after this current term finishes. In 2022, the people of Bristol voted to abolish the role of mayor in the referendum with a turnout of 28.6%. The position will cease to exist in 2024 at the end of Rees's second term. So let's check what the actual Wikipedia says about Rees. The issue of democracy and local accountability is made worse by the stupidity of Jeremy Corbyn. How is it that the people of Bristol voted to scrap this corrupt post, whereas in Newham, in Tower Hamlets, in Hackney, and in Lewisham, the people didn't? The reason is that the Labour Party personnel in those boroughs, Tower Hamlets in Newham and Hackney and Lewisham, are themselves operating a corrupt unit of the Labour Party. And they're not in any way, shape, or form telling the people the facts about the corruption and the lying and the lack of democracy being offered by the particular incumbent in the post of mayor in those boroughs. We shall be updating on all of these in later editions. This one is being finished at, let's say, 40 minutes. 40 minutes length, this duration, this particular edition.